Hey friends, this is a beautiful, wonderful Luxman PX-101. Now, I've worked on this for about an hour now, and it does okay. It's a good little player. I would definitely say this is a good exploratory purchase. That's what I bought it for. I've been finicking with it. I would say it's probably been in storage for a decade or two. Not really sure, but yeah. Anyways, so bought this dude for $100 on eBay, mostly out of a purely interest standpoint. I've had a lot of these linear track turntables, the Yamaha, I believe a Pioneer. No, I've had a Pioneer. A couple of Pioneers actually, and then Sansui, and then gosh, maybe some others. Anyways, love the linear track players. They are just pretty darn spiffy cool. Like them a lot. This one has been fairly easy to work on. It does have, it's fairly finicky, it's pretty picky. When I first put it back together and was testing it out, it just was acting up, and I thought that it was some of the electronics inside, maybe some circuitry, that maybe capacitor or transistor was shot, but really what it was is the tone arm is very sensitive to how much weight, and I had it on, accidentally had it on 6 grams, which it did not like. In reading the material about this, you know, it was an accident that I had it at 6 grams. I knew it should be somewhere between 0 and 3 is what it's rated for. So pretty cool. Got it working, and it does pretty good. Let's see here. Come on. Oh, now it's decided that it's not going to work again. Freaking damn, man. Well, like I said, it's pretty finicky. So I'm gonna take it apart and show you, oops, how to change. I went outside, so I'm all itchy now. Dang mosquitoes. All right, so let's take this and break it down, and I'll show you how to change the belt on it. All right, of course, first you're gonna take the record off, and you're gonna power it down, take the power off. The platter on this one was good, luckily enough. And then this, it weighs a pound, 13 or 12 or 13, one of the two. Anyway, so it's fairly unique. It's like pretty thin. It's not labeled Luxman anywhere. So oh wait, there's the Luxman symbol right there. Never mind, it is labeled Luxman. So if you need one of these, probably have a tough time finding them. I don't know how many of these units they made, but I know that right now on old eBay, only one other one listed, and it looked to be in a little bit better condition than this one. But they want $850 for it, so yeah, $100 is what I spent. All right, so to disassemble it, you have to do a couple of things. First, you're going to want to remove the plastics, which there are 2 pieces. One of them is hiding out right here. If I can get it to seat itself again. Come on, buddy, you want to go in? All right. If you talk to them, they tend to react pretty good. That or they don't. I love my kids. Anyways, there's a piece of plastic right here. You have to unscrew it, pull it up. Piece of plastic right here. You have to just pop this out. See, it's got little popper things there. All right, take those off. You're going to unscrew head shell, take the weight off. The weight just slips straight up, bam, and it's a good stout weight. And then you manually but lightly push it to the center. Okay. All right, let's see here. I want to make sure that that's good and loose, because I think that's part of my problem on the leading trail. Okay. Anyways, on the bottom side there are couple of screws on the front, and these are going to be shallow screws. There are two in the center, one here and one here, and then there are surrounding screws. The screws you want to take off are these black screws. Do not worry with taking the legs off. They are not holding on the top. So what we're going to do is take off the additional 4 screws on top, and the top will just pop right off. Pretty darn easy player to disassemble. Putting it back together is a little bit tricky because there is a little slide in the back that puts in the remote accessory plugs. Okay, so it comes right off. All right, and while you're in here, you want to get as much of this dirty, nasty grime out, especially this window down here for your timing or tracking, whatever. Pitch, tracking, timing, whatever. All right, this dude is your spindle, and she lifts right out. The only thing keeping it in when that cover is on is the cover itself. It's going to be really heavy, so be careful. I use some, let me get the grease. I use Super Lube. It is ISO 100 dielectric. That's why I use it, because if this gets on any of the electrics, it's not going to be a bad thing. There are 3 fuses, 1, 2, 3. I've already checked them on this one. They're all good. You want your LEDs, don't crush these down, because then when you go put that cover on, it's not going to fit right. This tone arm slide does lift up, so you can actually service under there. There is an electromagnet right here that operates the up and down, so you don't have a belt down here. You do want to, of course, do some good lubricants in here. Let me spray a little bit down here. I just saw something that I missed. So you want deoxit, if you can get a hold of some of that. Right now I am just using automotive electric stuff, which is basically the same thing. All right, good deal. All right, and that should help that circuit out there. Want it to dry. There we go. All right, so a couple of notes about this unit is the springs in mine. So there's a spring in here, there's a spring up here. I didn't have to do anything with those. There's a spring here too to keep the timing. What I did was I pulled this off here, and this is the tone arm lift, and I pulled it out. There is no hydraulic in there as far as I could tell. If it is, it's shot on this one. But so there's a spring in this little lift arm here, and I had to stretch that spring because mine had sat, this one had sat so long with it compressed that I think that spring had got a little on the rough side there. So anywho, let's see here. Belt is right here, so you can lift this. You don't have to sit there and force it back and forth to get to everything. My belt here, let's take it off. I do not recall exactly what size this is, but the one that was on there was lobed really bad, so what would happen is it would slip to the next lobe and slip, 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 get all the way down to this other lobe, slip, slip, slip. Put this on there and magic happened. It worked. While I was in here, you know, just threw a little bit of lubricant down in here, just a tiny hair a little bit, not much. You don't want to get too generous around the belts. The worm drive dropped some electrolytic grease down there, and that is here again, automotive, and just dropped a little bit in there just in case it would accidentally get on the dude. Some electrics. So all right, so when you're working with the belts, make sure your hands are good and clean, and I always just kind of slide it on there like so and run it for a second, make sure there's no loops in it. Looks good. All right, so there is a little sensor in here that's going to be really sensitive to which direction this is setting, so there's probably a fine-tune adjustment somewhere in here. I have not found it yet. There's this sensor here that tells it when it's all the way to the center to return. So when this sensor is, you'll see here that there's different levels. I don't know if you can see that on the camera here. Let me get the camera off and show you. You'll see here that there's different levels in here. That's letting it know where to start and stop for the different sizes of the record. Let's see here, I already talked about this. Power works just fine. All my other switches work just fine, so I did not play with them. And you'll see when I started it up this time around, it decided it didn't want to go, and well, it's been kind of finicky like that. This one I bought as item of interest for me, so I'm not really too particular about it working perfectly. All right, so it will over time. Some of these things, when they've sat around for a long time, it just takes them a little while to get going again. So this is my adjustment to tell where to drop the tone arm. Okay, so let's see here. If you adjusted this, I think adjusting it out is going to cause it to come in further. Okay, so good. This here, center here, good. Let's make sure that this piece is clean. Okay, that looks good and clean, but just to be on the safe side, let's run a Q-tip down there. Okay, so if any of these lights have gone out here on this sensor, then I can explain some of them messy behavior. But this one is your adjustment to move the tone arm. This one adjusts the speed, which is nice because you can crank that puppy up and it goes much faster. Okay, so let's go ahead and put it back together. One of the cool things about this tone arm is, and I think there's many tone arms like this, but I'm going to go over it on this video in case you've not seen one like this before, is that what you do is you set the tone arm to 3 down here, and you get your little scale, and you back your weight back until that scale reads 3. And then from there on out, you just leave it set, and you can adjust it to 2 for here, 1, 0. Again, this goes 0 to 3 on your weight, and that way you can change it for your various records. Some records respond better to lighter and heavier weights. So cool little feature there. You can just adjust as you're going. All right, let's go ahead and put it back together. All right, to make it a little bit easier, you'll see that this is the one I was talking about when it comes to putting it back together. This is kind of tricky to slide on. All right, I want to make sure that this is set just right. We don't want to put too much weight on it on accident. There we go, perfect. All right, so there's that, and then get this to finagle into the right spot. And it's not seating just right just yet. Still has a little bit left. Come on, buddy. Come on, you want to do it. It's not going to seat right. Oh, poor thing. It's had a heck of a night. I've had it apart 2 or 3 times now. Let's see if maybe accidentally one of these are just... I can't get these to come all the way out. So I'm fighting them every time. All right. There we go. All right, let's try it one more time. Oh, come the hell on. Let's take it off one more time and see what we're fighting here. What's in our way? None. Nothing here. All right, it's just an operator error here. Perfect. All right, again, operator. All right. What are you doing there? You want me to watch the baby? Here. This done. Let's put this weight on, so the weight with the wheel to the back. Okay, cool. Got that. Good. All right, now we can move it back here. All right, we've got our screws on here, so we can move it around without losing the bottom. No. There we go. Okay. To put the platter on. Okay, platter. Perfect. And putting that new lube in there actually helped out quite a bit, because before that platter was only spinning for I don't know, maybe about 4 or 5 revolutions before it would give in. Now it's going for roughly 30 seconds, which is, I think that's the target goal you should be going for, is getting it to spin for about 30 seconds here. All right, now let's do this. Go ahead and tighten this down. We're going to put our magic measuring contraption under here. That's going to be too big. Let's just use the phone. That's what I used last time. Works great. Okay, so, and let's go. It is not saying anything because I can't see it. All right, 4. Let's back it off. Back this up to 3. It is 2, so put this up a little bit, and 4, 3.5, just a little bit more, 3 1/4. That's close. That's 3. Oops. All right, so I'm gonna dial in now, and I'm gonna pull it back because this gets in the way of the tone arm here, or the rest, not that. Okay, so now let's throw a record on here and hope for the best. Oh, you gotta plug it in. All right, if this doesn't work, I'm gonna make this the end of the video because I'm gonna finish around with another player. All right, let's see if she goes. Oh no, you went the wrong way, you turkey. All right, so need to adjust it in a little bit more. Boop, boop, boop. All right, let's see if that works. Come on. Yeah, I think there's something wrong with the sensor that pulls it in, because it should just be kind of delicate as it's going. You see how I can guide it? It should just, you know, I don't know, fall perfectly. but it sounds really good. I like it. I'm gonna enjoy it. It's another piece for me to keep on the shelf and stare at. So again, like I think I said this earlier in the video, the only other one out there is a guy wants 850 bucks for it. This is not worth $850. If you have $850 to spend, go buy yourself, I think it's a YX-2, YX-3 Yamaha. I've had the 3, and those dudes are BA, and they are built like solid. Like on theirs, everything is metal. There's a lot of plastic. Even this little lift right here is plastic on this one. This is aluminum, you know, plastic. It probably weighs like, I don't know, maybe 25 pounds, maybe 30. That Yamaha is got another maybe 5-10 pounds on it. On the Yamaha, the actual plate is 3 pounds. I weighed that dude. It's on another video actually. I just have a real quick video on it. It was before I really did kind of deep dives on these. This is a good player. I would say if you can find one that's like completely fully operational, beautiful, like the cover is immaculate, you know, I might blow like 400 bucks on one, but by no means 850. Holy moly. And if you were buying one that was in immaculate condition, it just needed a belt or the sensors weren't working right, I'd say, you know, 200. And then, sorry about that, goodness gracious. And then if it's one that's just like full out, needs a bunch of work, you might just want to rethink your need for one. I'm just gonna be honest, not even gonna goof around there. It's pretty. They're not built like the Yamahas, or even the sturdy. God, I can't remember what other brand built one of these that was just absolutely to die for good. Linear tracking, but kind of regret letting my Yamaha go, but I just could not bear to put it out because I have kids, obviously. By the one I'm watching here, that's the youngest one. I'm all the way up to 27 years old. Yeah. All right. So overall, I like it. I personally would. I'm not going to let this one go anytime soon. It's immediately part of my collection just because it's a cool centerpiece, something to talk about. The cartridge that came on it, I believe this is a stock cartridge. It is just P-mount. Let's see what the cartridge is. I didn't even check it. Honestly, Jenny. Alright. Let's see here. It's always a surprise. Some of the times you get really lucky on these. Come on. There we go. 1892E now. That's pretty common. That might be like a $60 cartridge on the used market. So if I wanted some of my money back, I could certainly sell that and get back some of the fundage. There is somebody online that is parting theirs out, so there's an abundance of parts out there right now. So now would be a good time to get one if you wanted to buy one to work on, because somebody's got parts out there on eBay. Which eBay tends to be my main source on where I get parts to repair things. And I buy them from the folks who have lots of parts from various electrical devices, not necessarily just turntables, but if they can name the parts on there and they have really good feedback, usually pretty solid on buying from them. There have been a couple of dead on arrival pieces that I've received in the past, and I buy them from the reputables because they'll either have you ship it back so they can test it, or they just take your word for it. The downside about eBay, of course, is that when you return something, you get sometimes you get to pay for the shipping. In that case that I had to send something back, it was a pricier part. The guy had asked me to pay for the shipping, which was like $5, not a big deal. And I got the 120 back. And then make sure that the picture that you're buying of the item has some kind of identifying marker on it that tells you like the serial number of the board. In this case it was a board, the serial number on it. And then, so what I did in that case, because the guy was like, well, you know, how do I know that you're just not gonna send me back your bad board? And I told him, well, you know, there's a serial number on the picture on yours, and by the way, here's the serial number on the one that was in mine that's still not working. And at that point he was like, okay, I trust you. So you never know, there's people out there just looking to get a quick buck and they'll take advantage of you. Right, I'm reaching over the GoPro here, so it's a little bit difficult. Alright, so in reverse order is how you would take the dude apart. Pretty easy disassembly, pretty easy assembly. They definitely didn't build this to be like anti-do-it-yourself. A lot of these higher end players, or a lot of the higher end players, are pretty easy to work on. It's the ones that are like, you know, they tried to be super smart about it, and you know, I don't know, they just made them way too complicated for their own good, and they are monstrous to work on. I had a oh gosh, what was it, in Iowa. Man, that thing was so hard to get into, and so I let it go because I just didn't have the will or power or gumption to want to open it up again, because it was just so tough. So somebody else who wanted it, who was going to keep it, whoa, God, I hate it. I blew some speakers the other day doing that. Accidentally touched the wires. Oh yeah, that scared the hell out of me. I thought I just blew another set. All right, and I've got the little 45 sitting around here somewhere. I took it off. Where did it go? There it is. And that's another thing too, like, you know, a sign that you got a really good player. This 45 disc is not going to be made out of like really plastic. Yeah, so anyways, this isn't your typical like high-end big time player. Let's see if it goes. No, you don't want to do that, piece of poop. All right. Do it. You want to be good. No, you don't. Alright, so this is the misbehavior that you'll run into a lot with some of these. And I tell you what, that Yamaha, that thing did not act up at all. And all of the adjustments were really easy to get to. My Pioneer liked to screw up every now and again. The techniques, the linear techniques, they have circuitry problems. Oh, that's another one that I like, is the techniques. If you can find like a PL, I think it's a PL, no, not a PL, I don't know, -5, a -5, -6, -10, if you can find one that's in good working condition and already had the work done for it, you're good to spend good money on those. They're well worth it. All right, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe.